Hi everyone. I'm nervous. This is like a big sponsorship. Okay. Hi everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to talk about the one question that I get asked most often on my Instagram DMs, and that is, what camera do you recommend if I'm starting a YouTube channel today? And it's about to be 2025, so I know a lot of you are out there. A lot of you asked specifically for vlogging, and as you can tell from the title, my answer to that question always is and has been for the last year or so, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which I have right here. I've owned this little guy for over a year now, and let me tell you, this is really the camera I always recommend to everyone. But let me backtrack. I do also ask for a budget in mind, because if you are starting a channel, my recommendation is if you don't have a budget to always just start with your phone, because like you've heard time and time again, the best camera you have is the one you have on you, and usually that is our mobile phone. So if you don't have a budget, this video might not be for you. Use your phone, go out there and start vlogging. But if you're looking to get a dedicated camera, this is the one I recommend. And because I've had this camera for over a year now and have had many conversations with you guys over DMs, I've kind of thought about 5 main reasons of why I recommend this for beginners, especially in the vlogging space. I feel like I could speak on it with experience because I've used this in my daily vlogs, traveling. I did a house tour, sponsorship segments with this, so I have a really good grasp of why I think this is a great camera, especially for beginners, and especially if it's going to be your one and only camera. So yeah, we're going to talk about those 5 reasons. But before we get into it, I do want to say thank you to DJI for sponsoring this video. All thoughts and opinions are my own, but they did reach out to ask if we wanted to have a collaboration, and I was like, are you serious? Me? Little old me? I was like, no brainer, because I love this guy. But prior to this, I've also been using DJI's drones. I trust their drones, and their footage from their drones are so good. And so when they reached out to me, it's kind of like a full circle moment. I was like, okay, this is like the first big brand that has reached out to me to do a sponsorship versus me pitching myself to other brands. So it's kind of a big deal, and very excited about this collaboration. So again, thank you DJI for sponsoring this video. Okay, so the first reason I do recommend this, and I think it's probably one of the most important reasons, is the ease of use and convenience. When you're starting a channel, you want to have a really short learning curve for the tech you're using, especially your camera. There's so many great cameras out there, but a lot of them do require knowing a little bit about videography, knowing what lens to buy, if it is going to be an interchangeable camera lens, you know, what mic to use. There's just a lot of different things to consider, but with this guy, this is all you need. Look how small and easy and compact this is. And you know, in a lot of those conversations about asking me about camera recommendations, we kind of also get into dialogues about tips on starting a channel. And this kind of coincides with that, because I'm always like, you know what? You want to think less about the gear and more about just creating content. Because then what is the point of gear if you're too scared to start? And so if you pick something up like this, it just really allows you to just turn on, shoot, and go. And so again, ease of use and convenience is my #1 reason of why I recommend this. So to turn this on, all you gotta do is flip this little screen. The camera turns on, and you can choose if it wants to point towards you or the other way. And it has a little joystick right here. So if I triple tap this, it'll go shoot whatever I'm looking at. Or if I want it to go to me, triple tap, and it's on me. And I'm ready to go. Just hit the record button. That's it. Like, for real, that's it. Okay, this video's done. I'm just kidding. But it's that easy to use. And in terms of settings, there's no like aperture, shutter priority you need to worry about. Set everything in auto, especially if you're a beginner. Auto exposure, auto white balance, that's all you need really. And because this little thing is so small and pocketable, there's really no reason to not take it with you everywhere. It's super discreet, so when you're out in public, you feel less vlog shy. But when I'm out with this guy, no one bothers me. No one looks at me, no one even cares. And even if I'm like shooting like this towards their direction, they don't get weirded out. And I think that's because this is so small, they probably think I'm either like a tourist, I'm on vacation, and I'm just doing like cute touristy stuff, you know? I'm like, cute. Alright, so reason #2 of why I think this is the best camera for beginners, especially in the vlogging space, is the features and versatility. Like we said, it's already so small, but packed in this little guy is so much tech that you can't find in other cameras, specifically the gimbal. It's actually pretty absurd that you have a little gimbal in this little tiny camera. Why I'm so in love with the gimbal is because when you're vlogging, you want your footage to be as smooth as possible. There's nothing worse than watching a vlog and basically the whole vlog is jittery. You know, you're getting a lot of shaky movements, you kind of get dizzy, and you know, you don't want your viewers to feel that way. And so This has a gimbal, which means your footage is going to be super smooth. The second huge selling point for me in terms of the features and versatility of this is the active tracking on this guy. So again, it goes back to that gimbal. Because it's on a gimbal, it allows the camera to move so it can track you. And so you can set this anywhere and move around and it's going to track me wherever I go. And so that allows you to get dynamic footage into your vlogs. And for me, having dynamic footage really helps break up, I guess, one look of a whole video, because you can set this down, it can follow you, and that just creates a different look in your videos. And I feel like that's a nice way to break things up. And so also, because this has a gimbal, I was able to record my whole house tour with this. I set it up on a tripod and it just followed me around. So I'm able to show things around the house without having to stop, move the camera, reposition, hit record. Like, I could just really talk about everything and this gimbal would follow me and the footage looked really good. And so it made filming so much more easier. And, you know, as a vlogger, you're a one-person show. And so to be able to basically track your movements and have the camera follow you is like, it's really convenient and versatile. Never would I have imagined being able to film a house tour like that without this little guy. So I'm gonna roll a little clip right here so you can see what I'm talking about. So in addition to this gimbal, it also has a slow-mo feature, which isn't really new to most cameras these days. Most cameras can shoot in slow-mo. Even your phone can shoot in slow-mo. But the thing is, if you add slow-mo plus a gimbal, you're able to get these really beautiful cinematic shots by what I call pushing in, pulling out. I don't know if that's the right term. Kind of sounds nasty too, but I'm not a filmmaker, I'm not a videographer, but that's what I say whenever I do like push-ins and pull-outs. But like, I was able to do that in my house tour and get these really amazing shots that I wouldn't have been able to do with a camera. Again, as someone with no filmmaking background, I just shot what I felt like my eye would like without having any knowledge of filmmaking or anything like that. Okay, so the third reason of why I recommend this is value. You're really getting a lot of bang for your buck for this little guy. Everything I've already talked about kind of adds to why I feel like you're getting a good value. Where you can even stretch that value is if you think about getting the creator combo, which basically comes with a bunch of different accessories, with one being this extended battery grip. So not only does it extend this so it's a lot taller, and for me it's easier to hold. I prefer this grip on here. But then you can just set it down on a table and it allows you just to get shots wherever you are. You don't have to like reposition things. You could let the active tracking do its thing. Again, going back to ease and convenience. Set her down, record, and you're good to go. But my favorite thing about that creator combo is the DJI Mic 2 that comes with it. And this has been the most surprising feature of this camera that I really didn't think I would utilize until I got it. And I was like, wow. This really is special. So with this guy, I'm going to be real with you. At first, I thought it might be annoying to use because you got to turn something else on. But once you turn this and this on, it connects automatically, seamlessly. You don't have to do anything else. And why I like this so much is it really allows you to, like I said, you're still getting that dynamic footage by being able to set this somewhere and it track you. But once you're kind of farther from this camera, or like I am to here, like let me just show you an example. I'm going to start talking over here. You're going to hear me a little bit less and less. Hello? Hi, how are you? And then I'm going to come back here and it's going to sound a lot better. But when you have this guy attached to you, or even if you just want to hold it, the audio is going to be so much better than it would be if you had an on-camera microphone. I don't know why I'm holding this like this. And again, this was clutch for things like my house tour, but also I want to show you guys a clip of when I had a sponsored segment for a hammock. These were like perfect for that because one, the hammock is huge, right? So I have to be far away to film it because I want to get it in the entire frame. And so if I were to shoot with this camera far away, the audio would be terrible. I'm going to insert that right here so you can see how it went. There are also two modes to this hammock. This one is the lounge mode where obviously you can lounge around all day. And then there's also a chair mode where these come up a little more and so you can sit in it like a chair. So it's super versatile. Guys, I'm telling you, so comfortable. I feel like a cocoon in here. So yeah, like that adds value to the work that I can do. You know, I invested in this and it's allowing me to do a lot of things I never thought I could do. Or I guess a better way to say it, it allows me to think more creatively of how I can film something. And a quick mention too, I totally forgot to say, but because this has a battery grip in the creator combo, the extended battery right here, I've never actually had to charge this when I'm out and about filming. I took this to Japan and never had to worry about my battery. Was walking around in 90-degree weather, never had to charge it once during that time, so more added value. Okay, so the fourth reason is something I haven't really heard creators talk about, but buying this allows room for growth. And what I mean by that is, let's say this is your first camera, you're starting out your vlog, but now you're like, okay, I'm ready to get maybe a little bit more quality, maybe invest in a full frame camera, which I'm shooting with right here, which is a Sony ZV-E1. And let's say that's your route, right? But this doesn't become obsolete. This allows you to grow, but still be a worthwhile investment because this can still do a lot of things that this guy can't do. With the gimbal, with the active tracking, with the mic. It's not like the value of this diminishes when you upgrade your gear. And even though I do have my main camera, which I call my main A camera, and this sort of like a B camera, I still use this as an A camera. I still can do an entire video with just this alone. And finally, my fifth reason is quality. And this kind of ties everything together because quality kind of coincides with everything I've already talked about, aside from the fact that this has better hardware than something you're getting out of your phone or an action camera, which is the 1-inch sensor. The bigger the sensor is, typically the better quality it's going to be in terms of the footage. A lot of times too, a bigger sensor also means better low light quality, which is going to add to the versatility of this. And so because it does do really well in low light, you can use it throughout your whole day and into the night. Yeah, and so add that 1-inch sensor to this gimbal and the ability to shoot in slow-mo, you're able to really get those smooth cinematic shots. There was a little segment in Japan where we went to Mount Fuji and, you know, I wanted to capture sort of like a serene sort of moment because the leaves leading up to the view of Mount Fuji were just like rustling ever so slightly, and I knew in my head, I was like trying to capture that in slow-mo, walking downstairs with a gimbal. I just felt like that would be a really nice, beautiful shot. And so I did that. My husband was walking down, and then there was just this patch of foliage where, you know, you just saw Mount Fuji, and I was like, oh my gosh. And you know, I was just doing this. This was me getting that shot with this little guy. I really do think this is the best camera to vlog with if you're new to vlogging and you don't really want to think about the gear or you don't want a big learning curve about the camera. So yeah, those are the 5 reasons of why I really do believe this is a great camera for beginners, especially when it comes to vlogging, but obviously for any other content you want to create. I just kind of related it to vlogging because that's what I do and that's what I could speak on and that's what I have experience with. And again, a huge thank you to DJI for sponsoring this video. And as always guys, if you have any questions, leave them down below. Comment. I try to reply to everyone's comments. So if you have questions, I'm an open book, or you can head over to Instagram and DM me. I'm just so passionate about gear that if you have a question, I'm willing to answer it. So long as, like, you know, I have the time. But yeah, I'm just very passionate about not only gear, but, you know, helping others. I feel like the small amount of knowledge I have, and if I could share that with you guys, I'm totally open and willing to. I feel like I've built a community on here, and so I want to give back in any way. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. So as always, thank you for watching. And if you can, try to choose happy over sad today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye everyone.